was judging.
Yeah, I'm like, here you go.
Right. He just said be careful.
I got
Oh no.
She call it black girl magic. Yeah, she scared the substance. Deja vu is substance. We gon' miss him like 100.
Welcome to the Black and Balanced podcast, a place that we like to think as the ratchet. I fucked that up. The happy medium between ratchet and righteous. Happy Sunday. This is the last weekend of Women's Month, the last day in celebration of Women's Month. So I have some beautiful ladies here with me to join us on this episode. 21 questions of self-care. We are going to be asking ourselves questions that no one else asks us, things that we don't even think to stop and consider, things that we don't think to stop and implement. And we just want to heal ourselves and talk self-care. So first we have my bestest friend, Mrs. Yanae Wilson, coming to us from His Mommy Vlogs. I am so happy she is here. You know what? I don't think you and I have ever gotten together for an episode, and it's so interesting that this just came about on a whim. Like, it wasn't like super planned or none of that.
Wasn't.
No, but I think that's why the best conversations happen.
Absolutely.
Maybe if one of our like phone conversations or text conversations got leaked.
Yeah.
That'd be a great episode. Right. That's another episode. And then we also have Melania from Nails by Marjani. I always love your nails. That's how I think I started following you actually on social media because of nails. I was looking to get my nails done and Brittany tagged you in my post. Yeah, she's like, got them out, sis. Got them out. Oh, nail cam. Let me see your nails right now. What they look like.
Nothing.
Oh, they're not done. Okay.
No.
We do nail cam.
I'm shipping orders out.
So when you do the nails, do you not have nails on? Like, can you work with them?
I used to be able to work with acrylics, but I'm so used to not having them now.
Yeah.
That I get acrylics and I don't know what to do.
Really?
So I'm a press-on girl.
I love it. Yes.
I turn myself into a press-on girl. I know.
Yeah, it's really good. They look very natural. Look, y'all know I make a budget for nails. It's serious to me. It is very serious to me, and I get emotionally attached to my nail techs. So when they be trying to move, like, oh, me and my man want to move, like, I'm gonna call his PO because y'all need to stay. Find a reason to stay. But thank you all for joining me today, and just to start us off, what we're going to do with our questions, we have all of our questions here in this little box. I'm gonna be a little bit more classy and start wrapping my little boxes in something cute, some little tissue paper. This is ghetto. This here is hood, but that's okay. And I wanted to make this just random and like a free flowing conversation because I think a lot of these questions and topics, some of them I researched, some of them I came up with myself, really hit on things that literally nobody asked women. Nobody asked Black women. We just had a whole month where we celebrated women and all of the hats that we wear and all of the strength that we have, everything that we do to contribute to the world. And oh my gosh, we just make this place such a, so great. And, there are still things that while we're being admired for that strength, for that, diversity, for that flexibility, it's still stuff that's not even being addressed when it comes to us and when it comes to our self-care and when it comes to what do we need, to be poured back into and to thrive and to feel fulfilled. So I kind of just wanted to put some of those questions out on the carpet and have a conversation about them because you just never know, we got to open up. And I think that's how we pour back into each other.
People don't want to talk about stuff like that though.
Facts. That is very true. And I think that, if someone is closed to talking about them or what makes them happy or, things that make them fulfilled, then maybe they need to really have a conversation with their own self first as to why you can't even address that, because that's a trauma by itself. Like if you can't even address your own happiness or what it takes to make you at best, you really, it's a little bit more work that needs to be done. So who wants to go first? You want to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, wait a minute.
Did I accidentally cut it? Let me see. Y'all look.
What does that say?
Oh, dang, this was supposed to be too quiet. Okay, just save this one because I don't know the other half of it. Act like that didn't happen.
What is your mental care routine?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so keeping it real is about like 8 of me, 9 of me
Inside that
inside
body.
of me. So I have to compartmentalize with where my issues are coming from, whether that's like from personal, this work life, number 1, number 2,
Mhm.
or number 3. But I'm a writer. Like I have
Yeah.
to write things out. I have to release it that way, other than just like praying or saying like, okay, it's gonna be okay. I have to write it out, and half the time I'll write something out and I'll burn it.
Mhm.
Like I'll burn it, release it that way, or I will write it and then write again. And oftentimes I find old notes from when I was going through stuff, and I'm like, dang, like that's how I noticed that when I come up here to Milwaukee and it's cold, I go into like a seasonal mental depression.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I noticed that last year when I had found the note from like 2 years ago, a year ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, every time I come here around this time, it's the same thing. So let me analyze, compartmentalize, and yeah, but I am a reader, regardless of what it is. And I have to just kind of take my mind away from everyday reality, like find a little piece of escape. But
Yeah, no, that is good. I think writing is probably one of the best outlets because it's really like you can say anything. It's so many different ways that you can express your emotion, and when you are writing it out, it's just different gratification. Like I'm putting this shit on paper. I'm either making it real or making it go the hell away. Yes, that's right. What about you?
I would say the same thing. Like I'm a writer as well, so I have to write how I feel,
Yes.
or else it's not gonna get dealt with properly. Because when you're writing, you're literally writing your feelings, so you have to be authentic. So I feel like writing and like just being by myself helps a lot. Like I don't need to be around nobody right now. I just need to be by myself. I just need to write. I just need to chill and like get the vibe going. Like when I write, I got my incense, I got my candles, I got my pretty little
Make it a routine.
notebook.
Yes,
like
like a
I
ritual.
make it a whole moment to like make sure that I feel comfortable and that I actually get out how I feel.
Yes, I had I listened to Therapy for Black Girls, they podcast, and she was saying how if you make something a ritual, it makes it easier to make it a habit. So like nighttime rituals, when it's time for you to go to bed, instead of just passing out, going to sleep, you're tired, you might have got out the shower and just fell asleep. Make it a ritual. Like, okay, I make my tea before bed, and then I light my candle, and then I, write if that's what you do at nighttime, or read, or something. Make it something that your body knows. Okay, we're going under rest now, and we're practicing something that we are familiar with. Now this means peace. So I definitely agree with you both ladies. Writing, I've been journaling for forever. Like literally I have diaries dating back to like 5th grade. Like every time I moved, I keep diaries, I keep class notes. Me and Sierra got class notes. I still have notes that we passed each other in middle school, like poems. I just go back and read that stuff. Like, girl, what were you going through?
The folders, the paper ones with the punch hole things. It's so funny. I took it to my mom, like, don't you feel bad? But I think it was from like 5th or 6th grade. And I had my acrylic full sets for $2.25. Yes. I had my manicures for like 75 cents.
Oh my gosh.
And then my cousin.
What year was that?
Right. Like, girl, you were the plug.
I used to steal her makeup and do our makeup at school. We had the little desk that open like that.
Yes.
And I'm like, look at me, 30 now. Do you feel bad for like whooping me for that? She like, no. I'm like,
look at what I've become.
This was manifested before I knew anything about it.
Best friend, it's your turn to pull a question on the box.
Let's see. Okay.
This was good. I ain't never done this one.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. I keep cheating because I keep seeing these 2-parter questions.
Nah, look. Don't be putting them back.
Let's see. So, this is a really good one. This one says, are you hard on yourself? If so, why?
Yikes.
Are you hard on yourself? If so,
Why are you
why?
talking to me? That's your question, ma'am. You pull that question.
Absolutely. I am very hard on myself. Why? Because I just know where I want to be, where I want to go, what I want to do. And life happens every day. So,
Mhm.
like, things get in your way, like, and you can't help that. So, like, it's hard when you're trying to reach a goal and stuff keep happening and you're like,
Mhm.
it's throwing you off and it's just like, you don't know what to do with that. So,
Mhm.
like, I'm just always hard on myself. Like, I could have did that better. I should have did that better. I should have said that. Like,
Yep.
I'm probably gonna watch this playback and say, "Oh, I should have sat like
Oh,
this."
honey, I don't listen to episodes. That's why I don't.
But me either. And people like, you didn't know. I didn't even watch it. I didn't listen to it. I don't know anything.
I certainly don't watch them.
Oh no.
Sometimes, like, it
It's
takes
like
me a while.
cringeful.
Yeah, it is.
It
Sometimes
is.
it's
Like,
cringy. And I'll be like, oh my God. Like, last episode, I went to go use the bathroom in the middle. Like, while we were on air, we were live, and I just had, y'all, I had came from, I had so much packed in one little time period in the morning. I really had to go to the bathroom, and I was just like, you guys, I'll be back after these messages. And I had to run down the hallway, run down the corner, and I'm just like, you know what, Kirsten? That was ghetto, and no radio station is going to deal with you and your ghetto antics. But, it's easy to be nitpicky like that about yourself because you might have a vision of how you want something to go in your head or your plan that you made is going to go XXX. And it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And you've been doing everything right. And that's exactly how, and then something just throws you a monkey wrench and you be like, well, what the fuck? I was doing everything right. Like, where did I go wrong? And now you start finding things that were wrong. And now you start blaming, finding reasons to blame yourself or to blame a habit. And I think that because we all know, we have that vision, especially when you're creative and you're a visionary. It's so hard being a vision. I see it first. I see it and then I see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, and it's just like, it becomes real to me. So I can't rest until it's just like that. But that doesn't allow room for unexpected greatness and it doesn't allow room for a mistake where you have to give leeway for both, at some point. Like, my aunt was telling me something really like that kind of resonated me, and I keep it in the back of my mind when shit don't be going my way. She said, balance is always restored. Every day, every sun cycle, there's always balance restored. So if you woke up and you had a really, really great day, and you've been on a great high, like, everything's going good, serotonin is high, you feeling good, something has to happen. And not to like say, oh, you just can't never have a good ass day. Like, damn, a bitch can't never just have, like, but like there's always a balance. It's never going to be 100% great and it's never going to be 100% bad. And when you know that and stuff be happening and you just be like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's easier to be like, okay, balance is being restored.
Stuff be happening. I'll be like, damn, is this from like 7 years ago when I did this and this and that? Like,
I think about that too.
You weren't supposed to do that.
I think about that.
And
My
you did.
karma return.
Yeah, so I be thinking about that.
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
Like, dang, I did.
And I be like, dang, okay, universe, you got
like,
me.
damn, you got your lick back. All right.
Karma right here. I knew it.
Yeah,
And like, it'll be like, dang, like, what the fuck? But then I know that's where it come from because it's in the back of my mind, like something from back then that I just knew, like.
Balance. It's always restored.
Right.
Get the box so I can get my little cushion.
Let's see what you get, best friend.
What do you do to encourage yourself? Oh, okay.
That's a good question after what I just pulled.
Yes. Balance. Ooh.
That is definitely balance.
Look at that. So for me to encourage myself, like I said, I'm a writer. I write, I make plans or lists of things that I want. Like when I get really, really excited about something and really inspired, I either write about it or voice record. Like that's also something that I do to kind of release along with journaling. I voice record because I can go back and listen to that even when I'm super emotional, even if I'm just driving, even if I ended up ordering me some damn food off of McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just still on the voice record talking like to myself. And I ain't all the way there because I talk to myself like I'm talking to somebody else. I'd be like, bitch, look, like, talk like I'm talking to one of y'all.
Girl, like
Yes, like I have to do
Start
that so I
cursing it
can
out.
go back and listen to it. So like when I need encouragement, sometimes I go back and listen to those old voice recordings, and I'll be thinking about where I was that day, or at that week or that month point in my life where I was feeling like that, and I'll be like, damn, bitch, now you really kind of doing what you said, or you kind of feel better, or you learn from this lesson, you survived that. At that time, that was the worst thing ever, and the whole world was coming crashing down around you, and now look at you. The world is coming crashing down around for a whole nother reason, which means you survived the first time, so you can do it again. Like, so sometimes that'll help me. And I am really big on affirmations. Like, since I always preach about affirmations, I know I say that like every third episode, but damn, y'all gonna get tired of hearing about affirmations. I don't care. I love to just listen to good things. And what I've learned now is to, when I'm feeling good, so when I'm on like an emotional high, I try not to reserve one practice for one emotion. Like, oh, I only journal when I'm sad, or I only voice record when I'm angry or whatever. So like when I'm feeling good, I'll say some affirmations and record them so I can go back and listen to them when I feel shitty. And I just be like, you know what, you're right. You are rather be that bitch.
That's a good idea. I never thought about doing voice recording.
Yes, tell yourself, because sometimes you just need to hear that voice. Like I'm big on like I don't know what it's called, but like I really like. I have a thing for voices. Like for my yoga instructor, I will only go to her for a long time because it was like her voice was like therapeutic to me. So for me, it's just like hearing that familiarity, and it makes you feel like a little at home. So when it's coming from you, especially if you're the type of person like for me, I make it very public. I live with, I won't say suffer from, anxiety and depression. So sometimes when your head and anxiety, it will lie to you. It will lie to you so bad, and you just need to hear something. Like I need somebody to tell me I'm a bad bitch today. I just need somebody to tell me my booty getting bigger, or like I'm doing really good, like something good. So
a little reassurance.
Yeah, a little reassurance, and it feels good when it comes from you. If you gotta record yourself when you looking cute, like yes, and telling yourself all your stuff, do that. If you got a voice record, whatever you got to do, but it helps when it's coming from the same voice that says I'm not good enough. I should have tried harder. I failed. You know what I mean? Like those things really will set you free.
I agree. I like that.
I do that with my babies. So like if they say something like I'm like, school just so hard or something, and then we'll be on the phone and like they'll just like I'll secretly record them because sometimes too like that's my reason, my purpose, what
absolutely.
I'm saying? Like, so it'll be like I'll play this little voice like, hey mommy, hope you having a good day. I know it's hard, but just breathe. Like take a deep breath, walk away for a couple minutes, like, because I do that with my kids. Like, okay, what's wrong? Let's talk about it. Or you want to fight? What you want to do?
Yeah, get it out.
like that. We finna talk about it first. And then however you want to feel, we going to still, and they.
Yeah.
I like just turned 6, so she'd be like, okay, deep breath. Like, she's so extra, but.
Yes, but
I'd rather her be like that at 6 than 16 and can't be.
Yeah.
Outspoken or like talk about her feelings and stuff. My son too, because they're basically taught you can't be emotional. No,
right
about it.
No, and I think that the emotional intelligence being taught that early is super important. Like you need to be able to teach your kid, or somebody needs to be able to teach these kids collectively. Sit down and feel your feelings because we're dealing with a generation of people who snap off like this, and now someone's dead because you got mad. You know what I mean? Or you sad and you don't know how to handle it, so you out here wilding. And it's just it's imperative. Like it's really imperative to their emotional and mental growth and to their contribution to society to know how to heal, to deal with their feelings. And it's not everybody don't need their behind whooped. Everybody needs to be yelled at. But I think that the more like our society evolves, the more that those practices will become normalized. Absolutely. Yeah, because now you're starting to see schools that have meditation for the kids and yoga and stuff like that for like mental health. So I love to see when people do that like at home with their kids, because now they'll know like, oh, this is normal. We do this at the house. Right. Like this is not just something that happens at school.
Right. I call it like progressive parenting.
Absolutely.
Because we have instead of doing vision boards this year, I did an affirmation board for the both of us.
Yes.
So we just picked something off the affirmation board and like speak on it every day. And now we're to the point where I could just say I am, and he'll fill in the blank himself.
Yes.
Like, because that is something they need to know.
Yeah.
As well as me. Like, I still have bad days and I need to go to my affirmation board. Like, what do I need to say to myself to feel better?
Yep.
Like, that stuff is so important.
Yep.
Like, all through the day, not just at the beginning, the end, like in the middle. Like, because every day is not going to be great.
No, yeah, and little boys. Like, you got a son. It's important for nobody teaches little boys how to. Right, and he's already saying affirmation.
I
Like,
used to be like, because my son, he is really smart. He's about to be 11, but since he was young, we used to be like, "You
where
are
you
what?"
had him when you was 11? Like, how old are you? I'm sorry, that was real rude, but like, damn, I'm looking like 11, bitch.
So I'm 30. I'm 30.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
But like, we taught him younger, and it's so crazy because at that age, you are a young, intelligent black man. You think with your mind and not your hands.
There
you
you
think
go.
before you speak. And when you say something, you mean what you say. Because then if you can't repeat it, you weren't supposed to say it. And it literally sticks with him. Like, I'd be like, "What are you?" He'd be like, "Well, young, intelligent."
Yes. And he might you on his nerves right now, but one day he gonna be like, yeah, and he gonna know that. And the way that he handles himself is gonna be completely different. The way that he handles women is gonna be completely different. Like, I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine, like, when you dealing with a man that loves himself, he moves completely different than a man that just want to love you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, no, nigga, love you too. Please.
And I be quick to remove myself. Like, nope, I already would. Like, they're like, "What do you see?" What I see is how I am going to react to you. Unwilling to acknowledge your actions and change. So I'm going to remove myself because I already know how I am.
Yeah, and if you don't love you, you're not going to love me enough. I just know you're not. So
and that's just that.
Right.
We ain't even going to go back and forth. Yeah. Like,
you're not even going to waste my time.
Yeah, because please. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Go.
Was it me?
I think so. Hi, y'all. Wait.
When was the last time you took time to disconnect?
I just wrote a blog about that.
I went to Guam 2 years ago.
Ooh. Okay.
And when I went on a mission. I went as a travel dancer.
Okay.
But so I was working at a club. And they pay for your flight, room, and board, and you get a paycheck. Like, it's a whole to do with it. So when I got there, I was on a plane leaving Hawaii to Guam. I'm looking out the window like, "Girl, you know you're not supposed to be on this plane going out here to do this."
Why did you feel like that?
Because I knew I had so much going on in my life at that time. A lot of stuff, like, to this day, people still be like, "How did you do that?" And I had to compartmentalize because I built a brand in the sex industry. Like,
okay,
it's not that you're selling yourself. So yeah, I'm Melania, but I'm also Milan. And I had to, it was a lot to keep it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll be around the water and the ocean and, with people. Yeah. And when I got there, it just went, I stopped working at the club and I was just there for like 2 months, 2.5 months.
Wow. So did you turn your phone off?
My phone, it just didn't work.
I can imagine.
Eventually, it didn't work. I had to end up getting, I had to get like a prepaid phone, a pay by day prepaid phone.
Okay.
Wasn't no Walmarts, wasn't no Walgreens. I had a Kmart.
Interesting.
And it was like a tourist place because it's like the only Kmart still.
Of course. Yeah.
I met it's just literally a rock. And everybody knows, they knew I was the new black girl there that wasn't in the military.
So because either you a tourist or in the military type. Okay.
And they immediately were like, "Oh, okay, well, what club do you work at?" But I was like, I knew I was transitioning out of that particular avenue. I was working in the industry. But when I was out there, I'm like, this is just a perfect time for me to get back to myself. I even took some nail stuff with me. I did some press-on orders.
Yeah, period. Yeah.
And I was doing it but it was really crazy. And it was just only time I could use my actual iPhone or my computer was when I was at Wi-Fi at the house. And
so you wasn't even in your phone,
nope. And it's so rural. There's no malls or anything. The only thing for you to do is to go to the beach, and it's so many different natives there. Everybody just, it was just so crazy. Literally what you would see for villages. Like you watch TV and you like, dang, they like real welcoming. But
Yeah. Island people do be like that, like really embracing, especially when you find like really small islands. Like I went to Aruba for my birthday one year, and Aruba is 22 by 24, so it's literally as long as Locust, like literally, and only as wide as maybe Locust Capital, you know, something like that. But they were all very like, you know, oh, how can we help? How can we warming and welcoming? And I'm just like, do not make me relinquish my citizenship.
And I went to
I'm an
Guam
island
with no
girl.
passport.
Yes,
So,
with
no passport. You don't need a passport.
Is we supposed to say that on the air?
I mean, it's U.S. territory.
I want nobody to come looking for you because I'm
Right.
right for you, sis. I'm gonna be like, I do not know where she was at.
territory, but
I
I
was
didn't
hot.
know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
I was like, wow, like it was just literally flying in. You just flying over just water and
Mhm.
in the clouds, and I'm like, dang, like I'll never really notice how we got clouds in Milwaukee, but when you come in this
Yeah.
motherfucker, it's so dark.
Dark
Yeah.
cloud.
And you know what I mean? But then we have our good days. It's like, you know, so it just really made me appreciate. Like I came back just completely different, where
Yeah.
I didn't have nothing but myself, like my real self, down to 7-year-old Melania. Like I had all the time in the world to just unlearn, relearn, shed,
Mhm.
replenish. Like
Ooh, that's a
That
just
I really want to go on a vacation now.
look, girl. I want to go on a staycation. I want to
Right.
What about you, best friend? When was the last time you got a chance to disconnect?
I say I make that a practice in my like self-care routine because I'm doing so much. I have so much to do
Yeah.
that I don't have a choice but to, or else I'll go crazy.
Yeah, facts.
Like I do so many things, and if I don't, I'm not gonna be my best self.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening.
So I say like probably like at the end of my night, like that's a part of my routine that my phone is not, it's on do not disturb, or I might keep it on, but I'm not gonna answer it until tomorrow.
What's your cutoff time? Like
Probably like 10. And even if I do respond, everything is gonna be short. I'm not gonna carry a conversation. Because I've had people call me and vent at like 10 o'clock, and then it's hard for me to go to sleep because I'm worried about you, and I don't like doing that.
You got it.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
I'll call
are
somebody
you-
like, wait, what you doing? How's your attitude today? What's your mood? Like, can you talk? Like, if they be like, no.
Can you
be like,
afford
okay.
my emotional baggage?
Yes.
On top
Right.
of your own shit.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm just
like,
like,
and don't do
I'm
that at 10
tired
o'clock
of being
at
that
your job.
person. I'm tired of being that person. So I'm like
Yeah.
setting boundaries for myself
There
and
you
my
go.
friends. Like, okay, this time is cutoff time.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to respond to your text, but if we're having a heavy conversation, I'm keeping it light. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Wish you well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely say like my nights and my mornings, those are my disconnect time where I'm just reconnecting, and I'm listening to like affirmations. I'm listening to different things that's going to help and benefit me throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're a blogger, so you have to be active in social media, and
Yeah.
sometimes like, what is that like? Trying to disconnect, but literally,
It's
this is how
very
you render-
hard. It's very hard because for one, as a parent, like some people struggle with putting their children online, and I had that too. Like he was doing certain things, and I'm like, this would be great content, but it's like you're
Yeah.
not living in the moment if you're chasing content, or if you're
Ooh.
chasing trying to record certain things, and you're like missing out on the moment. So it's just like it's a hard balance, but it's just like, if it comes again, I'll record it. If it's not, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't put pressure on myself there, but all the rest of the stuff that I do have to be very active on social media. Like with modeling, my mommy's
Yep.
group, I'm steady having conversations. Like it's over 300 moms that I have in my group. So they're either asking me questions or needing certain things, resources, because I am a resourceful person. So it's just like I'm always pulled in certain directions, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. But like you guys said before this podcast even started, like getting an assistant, I'm working on
Man,
it.
listen, if
I'm
you
working on it.
are an intern, a media assistant, you got some shmoney. At least amongst 3 people right here, honey, because I need some help.
And
And
a
best
nanny.
friend needs some help. Okay, like look, you need to double as a nanny and perhaps a
And
dog
people
groomer. I
think
don't know.
those are like luxuries. Like that is
It's
a
not.
necessity.
Oh my gosh. So
That's a
listen, I
necessity.
think that anything you build in your budget can be a necessity. Like everything doesn't have to be a luxury. Like if you say, look, I don't like to wash my clothes, so dry cleaning is about to be something that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Build that in your budget, not as a regular. Like
Absolutely.
don't get me started. Don't get me started on luxuries and like the stereotypes about luxuries against black
Bougie.
culture and white culture. Yes. Oh my God, that's a whole other
Listen,
episode.
I'm having a private jet. People be like, well, yes, I want my farm. I want my animals. And I want my private jet. No, I don't want to have to go through TSA. I don't want to have to. I'm going to the airport, but I'm going over there. I'm not going over there.
Yeah, honestly. And I want my own little landing dock.
Come on, kids. Let's go.
Yes. The PJ, how much is gas? Like, what's gas? Whose dog is it? I lost track.
It's yours.
Oh.
Or is
Cute.
it?
No,
No,
yours.
it's mine.
Is yours which one? Look.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's yours.
Who just had the
Actually.
question? I'm just going to pick. What was
I
your
had to, when was the last time you disconnect?
Yep.
It is mine. Okay.
I'm glad
Maybe
you
it's
keep
the
it up.
wine.
Oh, no, mine's different. Come on.
This is a good
This the
choice.
half of Yes. Thanks. Shout out to mom.
Okay, this is a heavy one. How do you mentally handle the stereotypes attached to a particular title that may resonate with you? Light, dark skin, baby mama, skinny, plus size. Oh my God, where do I even start? The light skin. The light
How you gonna
skin.
say? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I don't think people ever refer to me as a baby mama, and I'm appreciative of that
Yeah,
because
same, 'cause
I
I don't wanna
hate
have to do
that
that.
stigma, and I hate even thinking about like baby mama, baby mother. Like I don't even want to do that either.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it
like,
doesn't
why
even
does
matter.
the or the ER
Right.
make like the baby mother's clearly a better mom, like, but the baby mama, like, no, you can't touch that
Right.
bitch.
I don't even want to.
Yeah, but like, why? Like, damn,
I don't even want to deal with any
Baby
of that.
mother do too.
they all like ERA. What? Like, why are we putting like these are the little what do they call them? It's like classism. You know
It
what I'm
is
saying? Like
classism.
these little it's like classism. Like, oh, you a baby mama, like, and then people want to make the like, oh, if you not with your child's father, then you a baby mama automatically,
Yeah.
and then there's a whole slew of negative connotations that comes with being.
It is
like baby
because
mama.
like when I tell people like I'm a mommy blogger, I remember like I was having this conversation with this guy, and he was like, "Oh, is it about single moms?" Like, when did I even say something about? I'm gonna smack you. Like
Like, what?
it just was like it is a stereotype that people put on you, especially like being black. Like I've gotten that a lot. Like, how do you know I'm single? Like you just gonna say that,
Right.
But titles are definitely, especially now, especially social media, like the light skin one. I can go on for days with that. I can go on for days with that. Like people think you think you better than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You speak well. They think you're white.
Yep.
That one is a huge one that I hate even having to address.
Mm-hmm.
Skinny. That one too. Like it's annoying. It's annoying. I hate titles.
So I was listening to reading a article that Sweetie had did, and you and I have had this conversation about pretty privilege, and it's like when people, deem you a pretty girl, or they see that you carry yourself a certain way, you speak well, you like to be, presented a certain way, like to look a certain way, being tagged, like there's all of these negative connotations that come along with you. So we don't even know sometimes how we're subconsciously working harder to not do that. And like I learned that I was doing that as I was reading the article. I'm like, damn, like it's very true. Like if you're a pretty girl, and in my head, if someone says you're pretty or you look good or you did it, automatically I want to say thank you. I want to make sure you hear me. I want to make sure I compliment you back, like, because I don't want you to think I'm a bitch because I'm pretty. You know what I mean? Like these are all the things. And then there's a whole dark side to that, because there are sick people out here who get off on harming pretty women or doing, gruesome things to beautiful women or hurting beautiful women's feelings. Like it's really a thing. Like it's not just, some, oh my gosh, woe is me, you know, I'm pretty and someone wants to hurt my feelings. Like it's literally a thing. So it's like you kind of have to be on guard because you don't want nobody to think you mean and you don't want nobody to stereotype you as, you know, that stuck up pretty girl, but you also don't want to be too sweet where it's like now you look like a walking lick and you know, like you're just making yourself available for anybody to do anything.
Yeah, I haven't dealt with like the pretty girl situation from more so women, but guys, like, and a lot of my more abusive relationships came from that. Like, oh, bitch, you think you too cute or you think you too pretty? Like, okay, let's see how you feel with this black eye, or you know, like things like that. So it goes both ways because some guys, you got a pretty girl, but y'all don't know what that pretty girl going through at home. Like, and I had to do a lot of self-esteem recovery. Like,
I got a question for y'all. How do y'all handle backhanded compliments? Compliments like
I don't.
You're cute for insert stigma here.
Yeah,
I get that with the skinny. I don't date skinny girls, but you're cute.
Yeah,
I'd be like, monkeys are fucking cute.
Yeah, I get it. No,
what?
that is the
or this and that, but
and I acknowledge, like, I like to make. So this is what I do, especially when people give me, because I get the pretty for a dark girl all the time, and some people don't even realize that it's offensive. So when I do, I make it uncomfortable for them just a little. Like, so if I was light skinned, would I still be pretty? Or like if I want to know what's pretty about me. Is it my skin color or my face? You know, like I want to know. Like you need to know that that's not a compliment. I had one guy inbox me and tell me, he was like, I usually think dark skinned girls are dirty and ghetto, but you just so fine. Like I just don't think that about you.
Oh.
So yeah,
that's supposed to feel better.
No, he said dirty and evil. I'm sorry. He said I usually think dark skinned girls are dirty and evil, but you just so fine. I'm like, huh? That just made me like.
So what do I look less of dirty?
Right.
Which one?
Like,
look,
which one am I? Like, am I less dirty or am I less evil?
Like. So those are the type of things that motherfucker. And then it's like I'm supposed to be honored. Like, oh my gosh, thank you for not thinking I'm dirty and evil. oh my gosh, whew, that was close. I was almost dirty and evil. This motherfucker, like so. I just people and it's the ignorance behind it. It's the ignorance behind it, and it's the constantly I have to defend myself. So like, whereas if you're not feeling like smiling or not, not maybe you want to look down one day, or with certain skin tones, if I'm just like no makeup, I don't have this problem because I'm fine, but I'm telling you, like this is something that just darker women deal with. Like we don't get to be angry. Cause now you mad as hell. If you chocolate and you angry, you real mad. Like you damn near a flight risk. You don't get to just be mad. You definitely don't get to be irate. You don't get to be so many different things. Apparently, you don't get to speak another language. I've gotten that. Like I'm fluent in Spanish, and a lot of people just be super flabbergasted when they hear me speak another language, and I'm just like, well, I'm not supposed to be bilingual because like paper bag test. Like, nah, bitch, you can't.
There are a lot of Spanish-speaking people who
are not everywhere I go. They think I'm one of them.
Yep.
Everywhere I go, Hell no. Yeah, I play them first. I just want to know what they think they're gonna say. Like, oh yeah, let me reach it down. Yeah, I don't play like that though. I'm sorry. So who's next?
You.
Oh, okay.
This was a good question, best friend.
Yes, that was a good one. Oh, how often do you prioritize yourself? So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of take my self-care a little seriously. Like I'm a loner naturally. Like I'm such an extrovert, I'm an introvert really. And I make sure, and because I know that about myself, I make sure that I restore balance by taking self-time. So if that means me just being in my room all night, or if that means me, just going to the lake by myself, if that means me saying no to small things too, because like I learned that like I used to be so on the go, and it was because I was filling my day and my my obligations with things that really weren't that important. So if you was like, hey Kirsten, at 5 o'clock you want to go to happy hour, I'd be like, oh yeah, and then best friend called me like at 7 o'clock you want to go to dinner, I'm like, oh yeah, and then best friend called me like, oh at 10 o'clock you want to go to the club, I'm like, oh yeah, like I would just you know what I mean? Because like, oh, okay, I got the time. But then I was running myself down. I really wasn't, I was just over obligating myself. So I've learned how to just say no to some stuff. Like I got a lot better at being like, you know what, I got to stay in this weekend. I can't,
Right.
because sometimes you just need that time to recharge. And I try my hardest to really, really practice doing that and not feeling guilty about it. Because like when you're a first child, I have a little sister. So when you are oldest, or when you are older sibling, or when you parent, a child of an entrepreneur or entrepreneur yourself, it's so many people that might need you, or so many things that can pull you in a different direction. And sometimes you just have to say no, even if you like, okay, I could just make time for it. No. Sometimes you just have to say no. So I have learned how to say no. And not feel bad about saying no, because then I'm not really giving myself the gratification I needed by saying no, because I can't rest because I'm in guilt lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I really could have just stopped and went to the store. No, like no is no, and I'm gonna take that no and ride with it.
And it should be made normal for individuals to say no without feeling guilty. Like, especially with family ties, like. Family will run you down before
facts
anything. And I didn't learn that until I was about 27. Because I'm the only child from my mom, but I'm the oldest of 25 from my dad.
Whoa, girl. What?
Can you say that again?
25, honey. You only 30.
I'm the oldest out of 25. But so from my mom, my mom had, I was the only child, but I would be about my dad.
Mom said I'm the first being. All 24 of you bitches. I was next.
Not the titles again.
Oh, sorry. You're right there. Okay, sorry.
But and see, even with that, like everybody know, like that's she the only child. But when I get over there, like, oh, okay, your mama take care of her. She at home, good school, but I go with my dad's and I'm with all my siblings, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And that could be overbearing sometimes, because if a parent lacks in a place, they'll look up to you.
You become that parent.
Yeah, like they'll look up to you to fill in, like, you know what I mean? And that, like I said, being on child, I take my relationships with my siblings very, very, very serious. Like, so I had to learn to be like, no, hell no. Like, and it hurt, but and I tell my kids now, like, my daughter be bossing my baby and my son around. I be like, tell her no.
You're right. It's okay to say no, just because she your big sister, or
like,
child. We got to teach that in the Black family, because I know I'll be abusing my little sister. I ain't even gonna lie. I am on the cross, honey, because like I be like, can you go downstairs and give me my charger? That's the best friend.
What's the question?
How do you prioritize yourself?
Absolutely. It's hard though.
Or how often do you prioritize yourself?
It's hard though, because like being a parent, especially with a child so young, like everything you do is for them. And it's kind of like it has to be that way. So it's kind of hard. I say I work towards it, like, because I already know like that's something I need to be doing. Like I even have family people, like my mom or my sister, send me like some money and Cash App, like, don't buy Sire or anything. Buy yourself something. Like, or somebody, like, I'll watch him, you go somewhere, because they just know like it's just me and him all the time. So I appreciate my support system for one, for making me realize that you do have to put yourself first, even if you are a parent or a single parent, whatever. Like, you have to find that time. So I started like therapy and stuff, because with saying no, that was a big hard for me. So that's something that I practice. Like, I don't really say no like that, but I'll be like, I'll think about it, or let me, I'll let you know. Like, you can have those types of responses versus saying no before you get to be like, hell no, I ain't doing that. No.
Yeah. Can we just really quick wrap, because we all said the same thing, like about saying no and prioritizing ourselves by saying no. Like, I really want to know the psychology behind why people avoid saying no. You know what I mean? Like, is it the disappointment? Is it that we, because I know for me, like, I struggle with this just in general. If someone asks me to do something and I tell them no, I think back like, damn, well, when I asked them to do such and such, they did it. And it'll make me feel instantly bad. Like, I'm not being like equal.
It's actually, I learned about it in my psychology class. I'm going to school for my associate of arts, global studies, and I
Okay.
want to do psychology because I feel that there is not enough therapists that could talk about certain ways.
Mhm.
As a minority, we grow up within a household, and certain surviving mechanisms that we had to become accustomed to causes a lot of our mental issues. But they talked about that it goes basically from like nature versus nurture and a couple of other theories where if a child does something, depending on how they were rewarded or how that what their need was perceived, that's going to determine if they're going to do it or if they're going to ask again.
Okay.
So it is,
Interesting.
I forgot detail of it, but it is it's different, like integrity versus I forgot, but it's like
Yeah.
different things like that, and it talks about that.
Wow. Yeah, that's something that really needs, because that's way too often. Like if you, and I don't ever want someone to feel guilty about telling me no. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it doesn't serve them. Like if it doesn't serve you, or if it's just gonna be a hindrance to you, don't go out of your way.
Yep.
Don't do it. And I already have a thing about asking people for something anyway. Like I will, baby.
It's very rare that I ask people for stuff.
Rare.
And I learned that was a trauma response as well.
It is being overly independent.
Mm-hmm.
It is. My therapist told me that. She was like, you don't have to be like that, especially when you know you have people in your corner that will hold you down, and you still just be like, no, like I'm good. Like I know my mama gonna go hell or high water to make whatever happen, and I ask her to happen, and I just still will go, girl, I'll be down to my last $17.
Because my mom be like, do you need? And I'll be like,
no, yeah,
I'm gonna still give it to you. I'll be like, you don't have to do, like, she be
Yes,
like, girl.
Yes. This woman, or else she'll still send it cash out. I send it back, and then she'd be like, "Can't turn my phone off," and then she'll send it back like,
yes. But see, we blessed to
We
have
are
that.
very
That is genuinely
Because
something.
a lot of people don't have that, and I don't sometimes I don't understand. Like, you can't.
No, the parental, like it makes me a little confused too. Like I'll be trying to be empathetic about something, but it just be flabbergasting me sometimes when people tell you things that their parent has done, or that they, things that they don't get from a parent that you might get naturally, but that just automatically be like, damn, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Like me and my mom, we better now. But growing up, it was like water and oil. And now that I'm older, like we talked it out and stuff, but it's still some things that she's done where I'm like, damn, I got a boy and a girl. You know what I'm saying? I could never.
Yeah.
But I have to understand she's not me and I'm not her.
Yeah.
So certain characteristics and responsibilities or things I think is a priority may not be to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when is enough tough love?
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying? And I don't want my kids to feel like, oh, that's tough love. Like, because, how we are now, I wish I maybe would have had some of that as a teenager, because in certain ways I adapted and routes I took I wouldn't have, but that's because I was missing. I feel now that I'm a mother, it was certain motherly things that I was missing. That I got it from my grandma, or she gave it to me, but it was like there's no blueprint for parents, and so maybe she thought, okay, well, she know I love her, but I needed to experience that another way.
Yeah. I can't imagine how hard that is as a parent, trying to figure out like how your child receives love, and like how can I love you and discipline you at the same time? How can I get through to you like, yes, I do care, but you was out of order, or this is how this shit finna go because you still need structure, things like that. Like I always remind myself, me and my mother are very close, and but we go through everything that everybody else go through with their mama. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't, and sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, think of your parent as a person first, and then as a parent, because I think we hold parents up here, and then you hold people. Like, anybody could disappoint you, but if your mama disappoints you, it's the end of the world. You'd be like, oh, everybody,
and they're not used to people probably saying that, because when I told her, I'm like, yeah, man, like, it's things that I probably said and done to you growing up, and it's things that you said and done to me that you're gonna say no, it didn't happen that way because it's not from your perspective, it's from my perspective. But I told her, like, I forgive you because nobody taught you how to be a parent. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how my nana and my grandpa was, like, so I forgive you, but what are we gonna do about it now?
That part,
because I'm getting older, like, and I sent it to her in the text, like, okay, but how we finna figure this out now? Like, what we finna do about it now?
Yes.
And it was like, as children, we don't do that, or we don't acknowledge it or know about it to think about things that way. Like you said, is no, you my mama and my daddy, and then you're
black
mad.
kids don't get to disagree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Black kids don't. We don't get to disagree. You don't get to have an attitude. You don't get to. I know you got an attitude like that. I used to.
Girl, Kaylani be like, yes, I do.
Yes, because
don't think about why. And come back and let me know if it's a validator. Don't maybe come back like, well, because you told me get out your face and I wasn't in your face. Like,
you right. You right.
You know, but like, yeah, because we don't. And that comes from just generational ways.
Yes, that trauma. Like, it's literally like I was reading something and it was saying how like trauma is literally in our DNA. Like some of the things that we do to our kids or to just to people that are younger than us, even like that superiority complex that we just subconsciously got. You sending the little cousin to go get the sodas out the cooler at the family reunion. You the youngest. Go. You know, like
just
all
go
those
do
little
it.
things. Yeah, like all
Not
of
the
those little things.
standoff cousin.
Cause look, you gotta go get it. I'm almost 30, honey. I'm not putting these nails in the ice cold water.
Go get, I give you $1.
Right.
You can have another one too.
Right.
Said no.
Is it your turn to pull? Whose turn is it to pull?
Did you just go?
What was the question?
What was it? No, you just went.
I just went. Okay. Y'all be doing a bad job at keeping up. And I'm not reading no comments.
What would you
I'm getting this Abby.
Why am I getting all these?
What you get now? What you get?
Okay, I got. What would you tell your 16-year-old self about self-value?
Oh Lord,
Child.
we gonna need a while for this,
Girl, right? Like,
What I would say.
you may got some tequila. No, I'm just kidding.
Mom, run that down, Julio. You got to keep it out.
Honestly.
No, what I would say is, well, just like this is another thing people don't talk about, but it's very common. I was molested by the time I was 16. So I would tell myself, like, that don't make you. Just because that happened to you, that doesn't make you lesser than. What they told you when it occurred doesn't make you less than what you know you are. Like, that doesn't make you tainted. Like, I would just be so forceful with the reassurance of just regardless of anything that has happened to you, it doesn't make you anything less than gold. Like anything less than gold, regardless of how, because at 16 that's a very important time.
That's a pivotal age.
And that honestly, I think the events that happened to me around that time kind of influenced my way in life with certain things because of what I was told and me not believing otherwise. So I was just like really force the fact that regardless of anything, by the time I was 15, I had my first stroke. So
oh my god,
I'm a 2-time stroke survivor.
Wow.
They had the third one wasn't like really a stroke, but it was the effects of it.
How did you know you were having? Did you know that's what was happening?
When I was 15, I didn't know. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure at about 8, and then I was diagnosed with a kidney disease at 10.
Oh wow.
But I remember just walking to my grandma's room. I'm like, man, I don't feel good. She like, what's wrong? I'm stuttering and stuff. I'm like, I don't feel good. And I just passed out. And when I woke up, I had like the droopiness. I couldn't talk. I couldn't write. I had to learn how to write. And then my second one, I couldn't walk. So a lot of things just like genetically. And I feel too, it's karma from my parents.
Oh, like it came back on you.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I feel like that as well as just karma from myself. But
not at 8 years old.
Well, no, I'm talking about like being older.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Like just certain things where before I knew it, I had odds against me.
Yeah.
And if I probably would have been told more or reassured more or been known like my worth more at a younger age, it would have been effective now as an adult.
Absolutely. I definitely feel that way. I definitely resonate with that. Best friend, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
I'm
that was.
Over here like, oh my goodness.
Girl. lots of things, like lots of connections. I'm like, y'all, I don't be trying to get on here and be like, because I'm a step ass bitch. Okay, like I will
I know I'm over
cry.
here trying to put it together. Like, don't cry.
Like, girl, I ain't got no lash glue. It is not the day
Right, not
for that.
today. Mine is I would tell myself to have more fun and to enjoy being younger.
Mhm.
Like 16, I think I had just transferred to Tulsa East, and like coming from NPS to a non-NPS school, like a lot of transfer credits didn't happen. So I was so busy trying to make up for all of this stuff, and then like working too. Like I
Yeah,
had
I
like a
remember
work study class that I could just leave school and go to work and get credit for that. So like getting a taste of like getting your own money, your own check, being your own adult person, whatever. It was just like it was go from there. Like I was just worried about what was next and how I get the next, or how can I work more hours to get more money to buy my own stuff, to do whatever I wanted to do. In fact, I wasn't really doing anything because I got work release, so I'm working like a real job at 16, like from 2 to 10. Like,
Right, like damn, you got a shift.
I
Like
got a real shift.
bitch,
and
I'm
I-
17.
And now I gotta go home and go to sleep and go to school and then go back to work. So I would just say, like, I would just take time out to enjoy being 16 with no problems.
Did you go to prom?
I went to prom, yeah. Long story, but yeah, I made it.
I never went to a prom.
I almost didn't make it.
Did you have your baby when you were in high school?
Nope.
Out of high school?
My mom was a travel nurse, so I was
That's
already traveling around. Like by the time I was in 8th grade, we went to California. I went to Dominican, got kicked out. Don't be bullying up on my friends.
Period.
No. Got kicked out. Went to a school in Texas. And then I came and my senior year I went to Riverside.
Oh, what year was that?
2009.
We were at Riverside in 09.
Was we? Yeah, we was. That was our last year.
That was our last year there. We both were sophomores.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so wait, when did you graduate?
09.
You graduated from Riverside. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Right.
Interesting. I did not know
Riverside
that.
was a blur for me.
It really
to be
was.
honest.
And
Like-
I was like never in school because I'm like, okay, what I'm learning my senior year, I already learned. So give me my homework. Like I was working in a strip club my senior year.
Okay.
Like I was going to the school, turning my homework and my papers, and going straight to Chicago. Like
I gotta go.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it was real different.
Yeah. High school was
Yeah.
I think that if I could tell my 16-year-old self anything, ooh, girl, we have so many conversations that we need to have. Like, don't do this, don't do that, don't give a fuck about this. I would definitely tell her to not consider anybody else's opinion over your own. That would probably be my first bit of advice, because at 16, I just was so consumed about what people thought about me or what I look, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just was super insecure. So don't consider anybody else's opinion over your own. Discipline yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Learn discipline early. I would have taught myself discipline early. Now I understand why they tell you I have to be on time for class, because now I can't be on time for shit now. Like
At all.
I probably gonna be late to my funeral. You know, like who knows? Like I would definitely tell her, discipline yourself and stretch yourself as much as possible. When it comes to, just believing in what you can do in your own dreams and your own aspirations. And, I would probably just let her know that her worth is not attached to anything or any title or anybody. Like, you are worthy just because you are here. You are worthy just because you exist. You are worthy just because you are you. There is no other you. So, really embrace that. And I probably would have taught myself how to love myself a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And, so my mom always was like a luxury type of woman. She got her hair and nails done and her, all of these different things. So I knew about that in luxury, like, and in self-care, but I didn't know it was self-care. Right. But I really didn't know anything about like self-love. Like, this is how I show myself love. I would have learned that a lot earlier, or I would tell her about how to express that to herself. So you don't feel like overwhelmed when someone else does it. Like
Oh my
a nigga buy me some flowers. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, bitch. Now I buy myself flowers every Friday. So I do still be like, oh, it's cute. But it's like, okay, bitch. So now you ain't got to buy none next Friday. Good. You said $12. You know, like
Right.
it's, but I would just give myself those types of, reassurances because I was in a whole nother world when I was 16, a whole nother world. And I felt like I was in that whole other world by myself. So I just would want her to know, like, it ain't like that. It ain't like that, girl.
That's why I be like, I talk to girls, like, or when I used to do nails and stuff, like, oh, okay, you 17 when you turn 18, like, oh, that's your boyfriend. Like, I would keep it real with them because nowadays it's way different than how it used to be. And I know times have changed. Like, if I had somebody like me around when I was that age, that would have been like, okay, well, you work at the club, save your money for this. Like, not just save your money. Like, no, put your money here. Do this, do that. No, specifically do this. No, you do this to avoid that. Like, and I have people like, today somebody was like, are you getting paid for the podcast? I'm like, no, why would I have to get paid? Like, who knows? Whatever we're talking about, I could maybe help a young woman that's somewhere in the same boat as me. Like, I don't have to get paid for that. Like, me knowing that I help someone or somebody know that they're not alone with certain shit, that's more than enough payment for me.
Right. It's
Like,
universal currency.
Like, I know I'm a helper, I'm a healer. Like, that's just naturally, like, I always been like that. Like, I've always been the youngest out of my friends, and I've always been the one that younger girls, even guys, like, go to, you know? So it's like, what's your higher purpose? Like, you asking me, am I getting paid? I'm telling you no, because this is an alignment with my higher purpose. Like, I'm tapped into my higher power. So it's certain things that I'm not going to be looking to be paid for.
Right.
Like,
And sometimes
no.
I don't think that people understand, like, when you are naturally a giver, you receive back tenfold. So like every time, whenever, like, I seen this dude the other day, he was outside begging for food, and I had just came from brunch, so I had my little bit of, my little smoked salmon, and I really wanted the other half of that smoked salmon. I really did, like, but I was like, you know what, I ain't got no money, but I got some food. Like, I got another half of this food. It was breakfast potato. It was good. I gave it to him, and it's just like, when you a giver, you don't give with the expectation to receive back, you do receive back tenfold. And whenever I see it, I'll be like, just thank you, God, that you have my heart open enough. You know what I mean? That my heart is open enough to be like, don't worry about it. I done did a whole lot of free shit. I done did a whole lot of stuff that people said they were going to pay me for and didn't pay me for. You know what I mean? Like, or I just didn't get the return that was promised to me. But you receive tenfold, and yeah, thank y'all. But one day we gonna be able to pay everybody, just not today. And her mama when he got the wine, so when we paid it back, we did pay it back. We're gonna do one more round of questions, and then we're gonna close out, you guys.
I think it's on me. Let me see. I'm nervous.
Okay,
I know some
who knows what she fucking wrote down?
I was just going.
This one I could give my best friend her flowers.
Oh, okay.
It says, is there anyone in your life you feel safe being 100% vulnerable with? You know I'm a crier.
Don't do that.
No, but Kirsten, that would be my person I'll pick because she already know I'm going with permission. Like, I'm not going to unload on
Best
her.
friend does
What you
ask.
doing?
I love that.
Because I need help. Like, what you doing? I'm in a crisis right now.
It's always a midlife crisis.
Like, I just gonna say a low level crisis or midlife.
And then I text her back like, I'm sorry. Good morning.
It's okay.
Like, I literally did this last week, so this is easy to talk about. Like, my best friend,
Yes,
she always gonna be that person I'm gonna call and ask first. But she already know, like, that's my person that I'm always gonna be 100% real with, authentic, and it's vice versa. And she need me, I'm right there. What do you need me to do? That's my first question. What do you need me to do?
Yes,
Can I help?
And that's good, y'all like that, because some people don't have that. Like, I try to tell people, like, okay, you talk about your family's annoying this and that, but it's literally some people that literally have no one, like, no one, and they're in fucked up situations, in prison, 25 to life, like, they don't have no one. Parents die, brother and sister don't look like, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to tell people, like, be just thankful and appreciative for who you have and what you have, like, regardless how much, like,
absolutely, that gratitude, honestly, especially people who who don't have to love you how they love you. Like
Mhm.
I grew up with a lot of cousins, a whole lot of cousins. So we naturally have that bond with each other, and it's beautiful. Like I'm grateful. I didn't have like siblings growing up. My little sister was born when I was 12.
Mhm.
So I was the big sister on that side. And then on my biological dad side, we found people as I went along. So I had to like make family and make siblings with people around me. And because I was the only child for so long, I you know, yeah, you got to make a lot of friends, bitch, so you'll be by your damn self. You know, like otherwise you're bored. So, you know, I was able to do that. And I always, when people be like, you know, I ain't got no friends, or I don't talk to nobody, I don't trust nobody, I'll be like, damn, like what a depressing life, because I don't know what I would do. Like, you know, and you know, vice versa. Like the person that I know I can be vulnerable with as well is Yanae. And, you know, I blessed to have a team of people that I know I could be 100% vulnerable with. Maybe like 4 or 5 people that I can call and say anything, and I'm not going to get judged. They're going to ask me, are you expressing for a response, or are you expressing to vent?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you need advice, or do you need guidance? Are you looking for me to tell you if you was right or wrong, or are you just looking to get it out? You know what I mean? Like, and I equally respect them enough to be able to tell me those things, and to be able to say, you know, oh, well, this is where you fucked up, or this is what you should have did, or this, that, and the third. So it's important to be able to build those types of bonds with people, because we only see ourselves from one view, but they're on the outside looking in. And when you know someone have your absolute best interest at heart, you know they're not going to tell you anything wrong. You know they're not going to, you know, they're not going to lie. If I call you name and I ask her something, she's going to give me the blunt, honest truth about it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to second guess that. So I think a part of that vulnerability comes with knowing that there is no judgment that exists there. You know what I mean? And we be so quick to judge ourselves and be hard on ourselves and keep things in, because we just think that, oh my God, nobody in the world can relate to this. But that's kind of why I started the podcast, because I wanted people to come be able to talk about those things that we push back into the corner crack of our mental closet on the air, and somebody gonna hear it and be like, oh my God, bitch, I be feeling like that too. You know, and you know, that's just how we build our strength and our vulnerability. So yes, best friend, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that being able to just talk that shit out, like balance that shit out.
Right.
That's what we call it.
Because it sucks for anybody that don't have that. I couldn't imagine going through this stuff that I've gone through and not being able to have somebody I trust.
Yes, and somebody outside of family. Sometimes, you know, even because I know you have a lot of siblings, sometimes you need to talk to somebody that's literally on the outside looking in. Like, you don't have a biased opinion. You ain't got no reason to side with this person or that person. You just literally giving me the real, what it looked like from the outside looking in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And once I hear that, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Or people like going back to the titles thing. People think you a certain way.
Yes.
Tell them you did something, they looking at you like,
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. People that be taken aback, like, look, bitch, well, I might have a story and I did some stuff. And I just need to know. I need some advice. I don't need you to ask me why, or, you know, like, Don't judge me. So yes, thank you. Oh, vulnerability. Let me see. Is it my turn? This is gonna be our last question, and then we're gonna close out. Because we've been on air for what, hour and a half?
Yep.
I don't like that question. I'm going.
You don't get to do that.
I don't like that one either.
You don't get to.
I'm trying to make the rules in this bitch, and I'm totally not like that. Oh, okay. I'm kind of glad I picked this question.
What you pick?
Because, okay, this one a good one too. Okay, but so this question says, how does your career or industry impact your personal life?
Oh wow.
So not gonna lie, I picked this question because I honestly wanted the both of you to answer them individually. So I'm gonna go real quick. Y'all go first. Actually.
Okay, wait, what is it?
How does your career / industry impact your personal life?
Okay, well, the explicit industry that I'm
you can
in.
go. You can be open. We wrong.
Right.
She a sex worker. Was I not supposed to say it like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Working girl, sex worker.
You wrong.
That's so
You wrong. And your mama knows.
All it is, all of that. Okay. It was really different because some people know how so I'm never gonna. Once it's sex work, always in sex work, but it's gonna be
Okay.
what level of sex work that you're in.
Okay,
So,
can you
a lot
kind of
of-
get into those levels?
It's like you have your webcam girl, and she's
So that's like OnlyFans type shit.
OnlyFans.
That's what I wanna be.
Videos, like mini videos and stuff like
Do
that.
it.
And then you have your escort, you have your companion, your sugar baby, and then you have I call
No,
them.
that's what I want to be.
Yeah, it's things for that.
Okay. We talk later.
And then also I call it. A lot of people will call it a stump down. Like she'll walk the blade.
What's that be?
The blade, like in Vegas, when
okay.
the working girls, or even like here on North Avenue. I mean, it's not the same,
It is,
you know, but that's still walking the blade. And you have girls that would rather be alone, or girls that will have pimps, or girls that will have like boyfriends that know. It's just all different levels to it. So
It's a
with
lot.
that one, I had to keep it different because I'm a mother. Like, first off, I'm a mother before anything, regardless of whatever. And I have my business. I'm an entrepreneur before that.
Right.
But I had to keep it separate because a lot of people are like, oh, she work at the Money Ranch, or oh, she did this, or like, oh, she a prostitute, or this and that. But no, that's not what I am. That's just
What you do.
my persona that I have to compartmentalize with my personal life. And it did get real difficult. And a lot of times, like, even my grandma get on Facebook, like, okay, we knew that though. Like, we all knew that about baby girl. Like, y'all want to try to blast her, but we knew that. So
Yeah.
it's different. With that, it was just really hard to differentiate and understand, like, nah, girl, that really ain't you. You know, this is what you do to make a living. And some people understand it, like, well, you could do something better. Well, I can, but it ain't the same.
It's a choice.
and-
Like that's what you want to do, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do sex work.
Yeah, and it could get real depressing though, because people don't understand. So with your personal life and your work life, that's where you have to compartmentalize for real and understand if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it all the way. You get what I mean? Like, it's because it's so much on the mind. Like times I would be like, boy, I'll turn this motherfucker up in here. Like, what you talking about? Like, what? No. But then I understand that's Melania talking.
Yeah, like I'm at work. I'm this
You know,
person.
like,
yeah.
You know, so it's just it gets very tiring and lonely at times because, like you said, biased opinions. So it could take a real toll on your personal life. Like, sometimes people like, oh, what's wrong? Like, my auntie, she knows. Half the time, like, I talk about stuff, people be looking at me like, she lying, and she be like, no, she not. I was there. Like,
Yeah.
but like at least having her would have been a way worse mental state without that, because it's so much. It's not like going to the office and working a job and coming home and like, you know, you always gonna be in it some way somehow. Like, no, I'm probably not gonna be at the strip club no more or nothing, but I have things I'm working on where I will be that go-to. Like, some girls are doing this stuff and they don't have a safe call. Okay. And I made it my responsibility to be like, hey, if you're going to do this, you can send me your location. You need help screening stuff, I'll help you. Like, but that takes a big toll on me personally too, because I have other things going on that's consuming me. Like she said, it's very different to do your job and do your calling and mix it with your personal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I can't imagine how it must be trying to separate yourself from work in an industry like that, especially when it's fast money.
And I'm if I'm in touch with myself, like deep to my soul. Like, I done been somewhere and I call my granny, like, this ain't finna work. I'm finna be on my way right back. Like, I'm calling you because I know you finna answer. Like, you know, I know, but that's why I'm going to school for what I'm going for, because it's not therapists that can people understand fast money. Like, that's an addiction. Yeah. It's literally an addiction. It's not an addiction. You know,
I felt
like
attacked when you said that. Like, wait, what?
And people don't. So, like, even with that, it gets real personal, because it's like, damn, I don't even have nobody I can seek anything professional from to help me with this. Because
how do you heal from that? Because I really still like the fast money.
I literally had to completely stop everything.
That's that. Yes.
Like, cold turkey is like somebody that smokes cigarettes. I had to stop. Like, I'm like, okay, no, I'm not working in no club. Like, I told the brothels, like, I'm not coming. Like, I literally had to stop, and I knew that was needed for my transition. Even now, other day, I'm like, oh my God, like, y'all want me to work a job for how much?
And then we're like, I gotta wait 2
To
weeks.
go on a dinner date with me for an hour is $650. We gonna go to dinner for about 3 hours.
Which I really wrong in this trade.
Like, you know, so it
So we have
fucks
to
with
talk
my
off
head.
mine.
Like it fuck, and I know I'm
Yeah.
not wrong. Like it fucks with my head because y'all want me to work how long? First of all,
Yeah.
they really want you to work 3-4 weeks for you get a real paycheck. You want me
And
to
I'm
work
just not.
how many weeks for free when it's 24 hours in a day?
Mhm.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, and once you learn how to make your own money and make fast money, you always be trying to figure out how to fit it in. Like me, like now that I've juiced, I learned how to hustle. I've always known how to make me $1, but you know,
Listen.
I'll be like, hey, pull up to my job, I'm gonna get these juices. I be swinging juices like it's cracking the 80s. Like, where you at? I'm finna meet you in traffic. I'm on 76. Okay, here I come. Like, you know, like. I'm gonna figure it out, and when I'm not doing it, it be like, damn, I'm really just depending on this work check. Like that's it, Like, you know. So you have to.
And I'm in school full of
Damn, you
time,
said
so it's
addiction.
just like now I'm just depending on, you know, it's like, dang, I'm going from making this
Mm-hmm.
to I'm in this,
a
and I'm in
difference.
school
That's
full time.
sacrifice.
Like I can't even really give me a part-time job because
Nope.
my school's so crazy. Like, but I know that it's needed for my personal growth. I know that it's needed for my personal well-being. Like I know that
Right.
it's needed. Like it's essential, and it's just
You gotta do what you gotta
Yeah.
do.
That's crazy you said that because one of my friends, she does kind of the similar things that you do. And she was saying she spoke to her therapist about it. And her therapist, she said she took on like this fascination versus
Yeah.
help. Like, how do you, like, she thought,
Like,
like,
don't be living vicariously. through me.
right, like she
And
wasn't
they-
really
and
getting
they
the help
do.
she needed because she was so fascinated from
Yeah,
that
but what
lifestyle.
is it?
It's just
What do you like? And it's like
yeah.
y'all need some, but I feel like it ain't gonna be better. Nobody better for that than somebody who was in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, so you're saying you want to be someone who talks to girls that are in sex work
I'm
as
going to
a therapist?
school for
Yeah. Oh my God.
Psychology
Hell yeah.
because of
That's a
that, like-
lane.
Hell yeah. Well,
Even-
untapped. Look, don't steal her shit because ain't nobody did that yet.
oh, it's already. Oh, I got
People be
my
doing-
name.
Yeah.
It's
I don't play like that about
established.
people ideas.
It's established and everything trademark. I'm just waiting on to get the right course because
Yeah.
Yes.
it's things.
That's
needed.
amazing. That's
like
amazing.
that.
It just clicked to me like, oh,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
everything she was saying, my friend was just like, she really took on this fascination. Like, she couldn't wait to talk to me and hear what I did next. And it was just like,
Wow.
you're not helping me. You're fetishizing my life where it's not a fetish for me. It's a problem that I'm coming to get
And
help
in that
with.
industry, we're already a fetish. Like I had guys
Yes.
that be like, "Oh, I've always wanted to be with a black girl." What?
Aw.
Like, I'm just, what do you
That's a
mean?
whole
Like,
nother
what's the
topic.
I
difference?
just don't
Like,
know.
because
Oh my
honestly,
God.
it's
Oh my
all the
God.
same. It ain't all the same, but it's the same structure of the same
Yeah.
system.
But-
So, and what are you talking about? Like,
Is it biased that I just don't feel like it's the same with them? No, like
It's not the same.
pink dude.
It's the experience.
Like,
the
it-
connection.
Like, how was that?
And then you have to
look,
think
this is not the
about-
conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
and you
Like,
got to think about it.
Bitch,
That
I
fucks
gotta
with you
relax.
daily because you're gonna go home and be like, well, are a lot of people like this? Like, you know, in that
Yeah.
industry, like
yeah.
it is. But that's
And
another
then-
thing
so
we
do
have
these
to
white niggas be having like
compartmentalize.
fetishes, like trying to call black women niggas and stuff. Like, why they?
Some do.
Do they?
When I was a phone sex operator, I had this one guy, and we were talking, and then I must have said somehow I said I'm gonna say it with a twang, and he knew I was black. And then he was like, "Oh, we could have went around about this a whole different conversation." Then I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean?" Like,
Right.
the operator came on, like, call, and they like, "No, this is a anything goes site. Like, if they want to, no, I'm not doing no racial,
What do you mean?
no
nigga, you not
racial
finna call me a nigga for pay.
no nothing.
No.
Like, girl, he was like, what he say? He said something like a monkey,
Oh, yeah.
Now
and
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
do you get to see their card? No, like, how can you know? You
no,
can't
you
rob
call
them?
a number and you log in, and it's like I got get a W-2 for it and everything. Like, it's,
Wow.
but
Damn,
it's
they
so
tax
much you have
This
to.
my boy.
But it's so much more that you have to just deal with.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, we got a spindy block.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, we got a spindy block. Yeah. No, don't take her. This is my guest. I didn't know.
Be your best friend.
This is my guest. Do my episode first, bitch. No, I'm just I'm kidding. Well, I had a great time with you ladies. I'm so happy that you came to talk with me. And we got through a lot of our questions. Actually, we got a lot left. Please recycle these questions. I'm going to use these again.
You know that question you split in two.
That was her question.
Oh.
It was just, I had gave her the other half of it. But yes, we had an amazing time. Thank you. Thank you so much for the conversation.
That was great.
Thank you,
That was
ladies.
fun.
Where can we find you all on social media? How can we follow you? Best friend, what are your handles? Your many handles?
Oh my goodness. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at His Mommy Blogs, and that's also my website. So you can go there and subscribe. Yanae Nawan is my personal page.
Spell that.
Oh my goodness.
People don't even know how to spell your name, girl.
Yanae, it's Yanae. Nawan, which is my middle name, is Najuan. You can find me on Facebook. If you want to find my personal page that has all my modeling pictures and want to book me for anything, you can hit me at Miss414 on Instagram.
So I'm not really a social media person, so I'm not gonna tell you add me on Facebook because I delete and activate. But Instagram is Melania Melania Marjani Marjani 2 underscores, and my clubhouse is Melania No Trump.
Bitch, pump out everything. You got an OnlyFans. You got a what else? If you want to book my girl for a dinner date or something, mention the Black and Balance. You might have to pay me too. No, I'm kidding.
And what is it? My nail Instagram. I do take personal orders.
Yes, I need
I'm gonna have to put me in
Nails
order.
by Marjani, and I don't have a website, but if you want to contact me about any help or anything in the industry, guys and girls, you can contact me on my Instagram and or Mingle with Milan.
Mingle with
That's all I'm gonna
Milani.
say. However you find it is how you find it.
Okay, hashtag Mingle with Milani. We definitely want, once you get everything together with your business or with your organization, we want to have you back because I know that you have some valuable information about men and women in the sex work industry, and I think that's a really important topic to cover. So, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part.
Thank you for
Follow
having
us, like, share, comment, do all of that good stuff. This episode will be dropping in about 3 days. It usually takes about 3 days to load on all of the platforms. So if you have missed the live, you can always rewatch this on the Black and Balance Facebook. Follow Black and Balance on Instagram and Twitter at Black and Balance. And like our Facebook page. Till next time, bye.